Lost in translation. There are so many barriers between foreign men and Ukrainian women that I sometimes really wonder, how did they make it work? But there is almighty love that sometimes helps people find a compromise. But talking about this, talking about things that people are facing in international relationship brought me to ask for an opinion of a professional psychologist, Oleh Orlov. My name is Matchmaking. I'm an international matchmaker with lots of successes in international marriages. And now I want to talk about things that go beyond people's understanding and basically you were mentioning three major barriers that exist between a Ukrainian woman and a foreign man. So, Oleh, please tell.
Yeah, I would say that in an international marriage there are three main types of barriers. The first one is language barrier, the second one is cultural barrier, and the third one is personal barrier.
Personal, yeah. Personal barrier is, I think, the toughest.
Yeah, but we sometimes, because we think the personal things are the toughest, we sometimes forget about the simplest things, like language barrier.
So let's go one by one. Language barrier.
Yeah.
Even person speaking fluent English, what problems can she have understanding a guy when they like each other?
Yeah, even if you are fluent, like, and I consider myself fluent English speaker, but I really often face a situation when I think about a certain word and I'm trying to find a certain meaning, and I remember this Russian or Ukrainian meaning, and I translate it directly into English. It is close in its essence, but there are slight differences which may make even the best intention sound like an offense.
So stylistic.
Yeah. So the first idea is to never forget that you are from different language environments, and like double check before you get offended.
You know, I see it very often happening between our couples. I'm not even mentioning those that are using Google Translate, because that is lost in translation. I mean, if you get 60% of a meaning, you're doing perfectly great. Mm-hmm. Right? And even translating in one way, then translating it back, especially if you want to have like a productive conversation or explain a person what she can do better. But even I often notice that men forget that she's not a native speaker, and they use slang, they use specific meanings of words, they use sarcasm when actually she doesn't read it the right way, and it completely ruins the relationship.
Yeah, just be sure that you understand well what the person means, and that the person understands well what you mean. And especially in a case of texting. If it is texting, then even if we share the same language, we may assign different meaning based on how we read intonation, how we imagine a facial expression of a person. So like double check it. Think before you react.
Is there a recipe to it?
Yeah, I would say that personal communication is better than communication in written form.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a possibility to communicate personally, if you like, just double check before you react.
Sending a voice or writing, what is better?
For understanding, sending a voice message is better. But if you need to just pass certain amount of information, texting may be better.
If this information is precise and it needs to
be
understood.
If there cannot be any chance that there can be double
meaning, right?
Yeah.
What I've noticed in the couples that have arguments about certain things or disagreements, they assume that he meant this, or he assumes that she meant that. That wasn't the meaning.
No.
And they assume in the worst way possible. That's what I see a lot as well, because that's how our mind is. Is this how mind is created?
Yeah, this is where your barrier number one connects barriers number 2, 3. You assign certain assumptions, and you assume something and assign a certain meaning to what you read, and it is grounded in how your personality is structured and
So it's like your own experiences,
Yeah,
because that happened to you and that meant this.
Yeah.
But in reality, this person can attach
Maybe
a
something
different meaning
different.
to it. So, yeah, things can be lost in translation. And if you're afraid of it, well, should he try or should she try?
Sure, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, because we have Oleh Orlov, because he can help, because he can help you build the right relationship and coach you in taking the best of yourself and producing the best relationship you can.
Yeah.
Besides my giving you the right date. So, but then let's talk about other barriers. Cultural barrier. What are like the most common issues about cultural barriers that you, for example, have been facing?
It's again about roles and expectations. So in different cultures, we expect men and women to take different roles, and it may be different. And it is different. The more distances between cultures, and especially geographically, the more cultural differences you will have.
Well, I do recommend, gentlemen, to read books about like culture shock Ukraine. I was dedicating specific video to like books about cultural things in Ukraine. I do the same for women. I have like a library of books about Xenophobe's Guide type of books. It's the name of the book. About culture shock books describing national phenomena and general, like they say, common unconsciousness, right? In a certain culture.
Yeah. And a lot of problems arise from expectations. So a woman would expect one thing and a man would expect another thing, and they think that their own way is right, and they, instead of communicating and trying to find common ground, they just say that, it's just argument, and say that you have to be, like, you're a woman, you have to be this way. And she's, no, I'm a woman, I have to be this way, but culturally they mean different things.
And now the nicest and the most delicate barrier of understanding, and I would say a distortion screen or something, or how you professional guys call this, is the interpersonal barrier.
Yeah.
And it exists even in different cultures. I see it a lot, like people carrying their own baggage, and
in each and every country we have all different types of personalities. Some time ago research would say that there are 16 types of personalities. Now they say that that there are not like types of personalities, but personality traits, and there are much more traits than 16 in the different combinations of them. And we are usually not taught how to deal, we are not aware of these traits and personality structures, and we know how to deal with certain types of personalities we have encountered in our lives before, and we may not know what to do with other types.
I recommend my clients talking about their past, about their nuclear families, about their mom and dad, what they loved about their relationships.
Yeah.
Does it help to build the bridges? What else works?
Describing any family traditions, describing your past helps. What was expected from a male and female in a family is helpful. But I think that the most helpful thing is trying to be self-aware and trying to think that there may be certain personal differences, and an openness to communicate and to share ideas with your partner is most important.
I would add one more thing that actually works, which is learning what you can about yourself and moving forward. And the most effective is having a professional specialist who can guide you through this process faster. And now, it sounds like I'm trying to sell Oleh Orlov's services, but that's my experience when, certain life experiences and stigmas and perception of the world blocks me from achieving new goals. And sitting on it and doing it over and over again and receiving the same result doesn't make it productive. But when people are ready to learn with the help of a professional specialist, then it becomes probably faster. People progress better. I do have couples that take a lot of sessions with a psychologist, not because something is wrong with them, but because they want to take better of themselves and they don't want to hang it on the partner.
Even if it's in this personal communication, when you're trying to tell another person what you would like and what you would expect, it is much easier if you already have good words to name it. Like we know a lot about ourselves intuitively, but if you, it's a little bit different if you can describe it in a concise way that another person understands you well. So that's why you need to have a good description, and developing this description, like working with a counselor, for example, helps with developing this description.
Understanding what works for you better. Yeah, and this video was to help you understand that things can be lost in translation and things can be complicated, but willingness to work on it, willingness to resolve it, and using professional help may work for you, but definitely supporting in your relationship. And if you stay subscribed to Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Koval, you will learn more things on how to make it work. Because everything is possible when you are working with the right people.